Hey guys, and welcome to another episode. Today in this video, I'm going to show you how to install a set of ARP extended studs on your car. Now you can use this tutorial if you need to replace a broken stud on your car, but I'm going to be upgrading mine to a longer set so I can work with my new set of summer wheels and tires. Now why am I installing these ARP studs? Well, the main purpose is because I want to install a wheel spacer like this that doesn't have any kind of studs attached to the spacer itself. So what I noticed is that spacers that are 25 millimeters and larger usually come with the studs that come built into the spacer. Now when you go with smaller ones, they don't have that. So in that situation, you're going to need to get a set of these and install them on your car. Now the spacers that I have right here are a set of 12 millimeter spacers, and I need these to not only clear my front brake calipers up front, but I'm getting these installed so I can work with my new wheels and tires come this spring. So I'm installing them, and right now I'm working on the back of the car. Now I already went ahead and disassembled the entire braking system so it's out of the way, and now I'm going to jump right in and show you how to get this done. So with the braking system removed from the car, I set it aside so it's out of the way. Now, the reason why we're doing that is because we need to get access to each one of the OEM studs that are found on the hub. Now, this is the one that came on the vehicle, and this is the ARP extended one. And you can see how much larger this one here is. So I'm gonna have that much more meat to work with, so when I install the wheel, I can also have a little bit of room for a wheel spacer to go on here, and I'm not gonna have to worry about having enough threads on the stud. So this way I'll be able to safely run a set of wheel spacers. Now, how do you take these out? Once you're at this part here, you've basically got the hardest part out of the way. Now, see right here how we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and there was a fifth one there? Well, these studs hold your wheel onto the car. Now to get these out, we need to push them through the back part of the hub. Now in order to do that, you can take the hub off, which works. It's a little bit more work than I would like to do, but there's a couple ways that you can actually get this done while this is mounted on the car. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. So right here, I have an old lug nut that fits onto the threads of these studs. I'm just gonna thread it on so that it's flat and flush with the top part of the stud. Here you go. Next up, you're gonna grab a ball peen hammer and give this a couple whacks. Now, you're not really looking to absolutely beat on this thing. What should happen is that once you hit it, it should just slowly push through and through. Now, if you need to, if it's not working, you can apply a little bit of heat to these, and you can also put a little bit of penetrating fluid on top of there, and it'll penetrate in between the stud and the back part of the hub. Now, I've already taken one of them out and it wasn't too difficult, and I'm gonna show you how to get this done. I'm not hitting these studs too hard, it's just like a little tap at a time. And it's already moving backwards. So, like that. Just gonna take the lug nut off. And then you should be able to just pull this out from the back part of the hub. So there's another one out of the way. You're gonna repeat this process until you have all 5 studs removed from the hub. So I want to show you guys another view. So right here I'm just threading this on, and then once I hit this stud, it should push through the backside. Okay, so I want to show you guys what this looks like. So it's already started to push through the back end. If you look back here, you can see that this little part is being exposed. If you keep hitting it, it'll push all the way through. Like that. Now whenever you're ready, just take this lug nut off and you should be able to pull the stud out from the backside of the hub. Now before I go any further, because I'm a little OCD, I'm gonna grab a wire wheel on the end of my impact driver, and I'm just gonna clean up the rust that's on here. So with these now removed, it's time to install the extended studs. Now, because of the size difference, you might have a problem or two while you're installing these on the car. Usually the brake dust shield or something else gets in the way for you to install these just as easily as you removed these. So see how simple these little smaller ones go in? Well, if you try to do the exact same thing with the extended ones, you'll see that stuff might get in the way. Now, what I'm gonna have to do, and what you might have to do while you're installing this, is either remove the brake dust shield completely from the car or bend it out of the way. Now, because this brake dust shield, the only way to remove it is to pull the entire hub and the wheel bearing out from the car and from the spindle. I'm not gonna go through that effort only because I don't really care that much about the brake dust shield. So what I'm gonna do is grab a hammer and just bang this down a little bit. Now, this part that I'm banging down isn't going to affect any kind of structural part of the brake dust shield. It's not really going to be making a difference because this is where the brake caliper assembly is installed. So just give it a nice little bang out of the way, and you should be able to push it through. Now, I'm going to have to bang that down a little bit more, but you get the idea of it. If you can go ahead and remove the brake duct shield very easily, I would definitely do it because there's no point in banging this up if you don't have to. What I've also seen some people do is they'll get a Dremel and literally cut this little section here out, so it's not going to be a problem. Now, I think I'm actually going to have to go ahead and do that because from the looks of it, I don't have enough room with this little piece installed. And there you go. So there's that little piece that we need to take out so we have enough space to install our studs. To get it so that one of these ARP studs will slide into the back part of the hub, I also had to do a little bit of modification to this little part right here. I had to do like a little notch only so that it's going to allow the back part of the stud to just slide past here, because these basically need to go in perfectly straight so that the entire stud isn't going to be, pushing on any threads when you're pushing it through the part of the hub right here. So it's actually pretty simple. It took me about 2 minutes with the Dremel just to like notch that little part out. And then from there, we can slide one of these studs in here. Now it's not quite in there yet. So it's just through. What we need to do next is pull the stud through so it's actually seated inside the hub. Now there are multiple ways to get this so that it's pulled through the hub. Now there's a proper tool that you can buy, and it's called a stud installer. I'll have a link for one in the description box. And it's funny because I actually have one ordered, but because I'm a little impatient, I went and just, decided, you know what, let's install it. So you can get it done by using the proper tool. And if you don't have the tool, it's not a big deal because you can also get by doing this. So I went ahead to my local hardware store. I spent $2 on a bunch of washers, and you just slide them right over top of the stud. Now, if you're using a regular stud and installing just a regular small one, you'd be using probably that many washers. Because I'm using an extended one, I'm using a little bit more. And from there, you're going to install a regular lug nut. Put that on so it's pretty much tight. So it's not going to go anywhere, just like that. And then using an impact gun or even just a regular wrench, then go ahead and tighten this up. And what's going to happen is that when you're turning this, it's going to be pulling the stud through and it's going to seat it into the back part of the hub. And at this point, we can back off the pressure on here, take each and every one of these washers off, and then continue doing that process for the next 4 studs that we have to install. As soon as you guys have each one of these 5 studs properly installed on the hub, you can then go ahead and continue to put your braking system back together. Now, it's very important that when you guys are installing each one of these studs on the back side of the hub, you need to make sure that every single one of them is properly seated on the back. If it's not actually physically touching the back part of the hub, you can go ahead and put torque on here. And say you put the wheel on, you torque it to 80 foot-pounds. You drive it down the road. When you go ahead to take your wheel off, you might notice that any of these studs might be loose. That's because the entire thing shifted and pulled itself in more because of the torque. You need to make sure that it's properly set and it's touching the back part of the hub. Otherwise, you could put yourself in a very dangerous situation. Now I'm just going to go ahead and proceed to put the entire braking system back together, and then I'm going to go ahead and test up to make sure that all these studs work with our new wheels. Now that it's all put back together, we can go and install our new spacer on here, and this is what's going to allow us to run our RPF ones and have them perfectly flush with the fender. Now with this, we have enough room to safely run spacers without an issue. So if you guys remember before, you guys saw how small these little studs were. The entire length that's past here is bigger than the actual bolt, our old one itself. So we've got a lot of extra meat to run our new wheels and tires. So guys, this is the moment of truth. We have all 5 lug nuts mounted up to our new ARP studs. We've got the wheel mounted up to the car. And I've got load on the tire. So right now, this is pretty much how it's going to sit. And if you can tell, look at how perfect this is. Fitment doesn't get much better than that. So once I install the other ARP studs on the other 4 corners of the car, when springtime comes here, I'll be able to run these new RPF ones without an issue. It's going to clear my front calipers without an issue, and it's going to be perfectly flush in the back. Now, depending on how this is, I might need to go ahead later and roll these fenders, because from the looks of it, this is going to be an issue. Now, you know, whatever, we'll figure that out once time comes to it, but as it stands, I'm going to go and finish up the ARP studs on the other 3 corners of the car. Now, I know that at least one of you guys are going to ask me in the comment section how long the OEM studs are and how long the ARP ones are. So I've just got my micrometer right here, and the OEM ones are 43 millimeters, whereas the ARP ones are 78 millimeters. So the spacer that I'll be able to run is going to be the difference between those 2 studs. Now, that's on the biggest end. Now, if you want to have even a smaller spacer, which you're probably going to be rocking, what you're going to do is you're going to have that spacer on there, but you're going to have a little bit of overhang on the outside part of the lug nut. Now, it's very crucial if you're going to be doing that kind of situation, if you're going to need to get an open-ended lug nut so that the extended stud will be able to protrude past. Now, at that point, you're not going to have any issues. So what I'm saying is you're going to have a stud that looks like this, so any extra material will be able to come through on this end. Now, if you guys want to pick up the lug nuts that I'm using, the lug nuts that I was also considering that are a little bit shorter, the ARP studs, Dremel, whatever it is that I use in the video, check the description box. You guys can find links down there. It'll direct you to Amazon where you guys can buy a set for yourself. Now, for the studs, I bought 4 kits. Each one of these kits comes with 5 studs. So if you have 4 lug nuts per wheel, you're not going to need as many as, say, if someone has 5. But you guys can check all that stuff out in the description box. If you guys have any questions regarding the video, throw them down in the comment section below, and I'd be more than happy to help. Again, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.